Welcome to another episode of Hello Students. My name is Mohammed Napare, and on today's episode, we will be discussing personal branding. Now than ever, it is important that as students, we take into consideration the kind of personal brand we hold. This is because there is very high rates of unemployment in the country, and the only way you can stand out is through having a very unique selling point. And when I say unique selling points, I mean having a brand or something to be known for. On today's episode, I'm joined here with Ashraf. Ashraf is the newly appointed second deputy speaker of the University of Ghana Parliament House in his
Studies.
professional studies. Sorry for that, okay. UPSA, please forgive me. Well, and he also doubles as a brand consultant because he's the CEO of a marketing company, right? I'll put links to his socials in the description so you can check that out. Ashraf, welcome to Hello Students.
Thank you.
Well, so let's just go straight to the point.
Okay.
If we are saying personal branding, what entails personal branding?
Okay, thank you very much, and good afternoon again, viewers. Personal branding is a topic that I personally have interest in because over the years, people come to me to ask me most questions about it. And first of all, I want to make it clear that your personal brand is strongly influenced by your appearance, your personality, your skills, and something unique about you. Okay, but I want us to focus on the definition for brand first, because I realize most people do not know the definition for brand. And if you don't know what brand is about, then you will surely not have a brand, because your definition for brand is what you will be doing, which is different from what exactly brand is. So brand is not about logo. It's not about a slogan. It's not about a catchphrase you have. But when we say brand, let me simplify it. Brand means the total sum of the impression your customers or followers have about you. Yes, that is what I would say brand is. So what your customers or your followers know you for, what they see you to be. That is what we call brand, but not a logo. Maybe you have done a logo of your name, then you think you have a brand.
So we see that mostly on our school platforms. You see, all of a sudden, you see a name with a logo and all of that, and this person is claiming to have a brand, right?
Yes.
And so, if we have already defined what branding is, how do one build a personal brand in a physical appearance? Let's say you meet me, right? From your definition, if I'm right, the first impressions I get about you, or the impressions you leave with me, is what constitutes your brand, because that is what I'll know you for in your absence. So if I'm to ask, how does one create a personal brand?
Okay, to create a personal brand, it goes a long way. We have steps. But then the first thing I would like to focus on is research. Okay. If you want to have a brand, you need to make a research, a very wide research. So you know what you are going into before you dive into it. And then in the marketing world, we have 2 points. We have the point of parity and the point of difference. Okay. The point of parity is what you have in common with others. Okay. So perhaps you are offering something. What you are offering, if others are also offering it, that is the point of parity. Then we have the point of difference. The point of difference is what is unique about you. In today's conversation, I'm going to use Sarkodie, the rapper, as example a lot. Okay. You see, let's say Sarkodie is a rapper, okay? Rapping is not his brand because that is his point of parity. There are other people who are also doing rap. Medical is a rapper. We can talk about Amrado. They are all rapping. But if we want to take what constitutes the brand of Sarkodie in terms of rapping, we are going to say that his rap is more or less much into maturity. Yes, when he is rapping, you realize that he's speaking about matured stuffs. Okay, so that is the brand we are going to give him. That is what we are going to say we know him to be. So that will be his point of difference. Okay, so if you want to build a brand, the first thing you are supposed to do is make a research. Know what you are diving into. Know the line you are going to toe. Then after knowing that, you look out for 2 points, the point of parity and the point of difference. The point of parity is what you are offering that other people in the industry or the sector are also offering. And the point of difference is what you are offering, which is unique to only you. that is what you. So if people need that particular service, you are the one they know you to. Okay, yes. So
Exactly the point. So just to break it down, points of priority means if, for instance, you are selling water, right? The points of priority is water. Everybody is selling water. But then how you brand the water is what would make you different from how everyone else is. And so in particular reference, we are all students, right? So we find ourselves in the student space, right? How you stand out and what you stand out for is what would make people know you for. If you come to class and you behave like everyone who comes to class, then there will be no special difference among you. No one would be able to say that, oh, okay, if I want this particular thing, I can go to this person. Well, there are students on campus who are very good at graphic designing, who are very good at videography, who are very good at communication skills. But then if you come to class and you're not able to sell yourself, if you are not able to make people know you for what you do, then it draws us back to the point nobody knows what you are offering, right? And so if you are able to identify your niche, that's what I call it a niche, right? If you're able to identify your niche, now you know your selling points, you know your piracy, right? Points of parity and points of difference, right? You know that. Then what follows next?
So after that, you have a focus. Okay, we see people starting something and then moving to another thing. You are supposed to have a focus. Define what you want to be, work at it, and make it a priority. You see, whatever it is you are doing, you are supposed to make it a priority. On any day, Sarkodie is going to make rapping his priority because this is what he does. This is what gives him the fame. This is what gives him the money. Okay, so he will. If there is a concert where he's supposed to go and rap, and there is a fun where his friends are going to have like play or have fun, and he's supposed to choose one. Of course, he's going to choose that concert and go and rap because that is what he does. So he's going to make it his priority, and that is what we mean by making something your priority. You choose it over another thing.
Your scale of preference, right?
Scale of preference.
Yeah, I remember that at least.
So you are supposed to have a focus after you make your research.
Sure. So this is for my role model, Mr. Nyama. Mr. Nyama always says that as young people, we are very innovative in a way that the moment you meet a challenge or the moment you are faced with a problem, you want to switch on to the next thing, you see. And if that is going to be the point, then you wouldn't have any unique selling points. Nobody will know you for one specific thing because today you are doing this, tomorrow you are doing that, tomorrow you are doing this, today you are doing that, right? And it always shifts the focus, right? And so haven't found the focus, let's just assume that you are a student and then you're a graphic designer and then you have been able to do your research, you know what to sell, you have been able to identify what you are going to give or the service you are going to provide to people. The third thing is you have now found the focus. What follows after finding your focus?
So after you find your focus, then you define your audience. Okay. Yes. So you have to know which people you are selling yourself to. Okay. Some people would say everyone. If you say everyone, it's equally like saying no one, because you can't say everyone. For instance, Shatawali cannot say that everyone is his audience because the moment you say everyone is your audience, then you are not supposed to use English for your music or Ga for your music because not everyone understands every language. So you are supposed to define your audience so you know what to say and how to go about things. So that if Sarkodie knows that my audience are Ghanaians, I know I can use Twi, Ga or English in my raps.
In the music.
Yes. So you are supposed to define your audience.
Okay, so and to add up to finding your audience or knowing who your audience is, it's very important as for you to know who you want to be or who you want to sell to. Because in knowing who you want to sell to, it would help you be able to tailor your products to suit that thing. For instance, if you're a student and then you want to venture into selling pure water on campus, right? If you are selling water on campus, you can't say that, oh, I'm selling water on campus and I don't know my audience, so you are going to just sell to anyone. It wouldn't work that way. If you are going to sell water to a specific people, you should know them. And if you know them, you will take into consideration how much they can afford, right? Okay, so what follows next?
The next is to be consistent. So just like having a focus, you are supposed to be consistent. We realize that sometimes people want to move from one profession to another. It makes sense, but it shouldn't be too much. Maybe 2 times, 3 times. People wouldn't know what to make of you, because today you are into music production, tomorrow you go into oil, tomorrow you are into acting. You wouldn't get specific audience, because every sector and industry have the people that follow it. Not everyone who likes football likes politics.
Exactly.
So if you are in football and people are liking you, you move out to go to politics, you lose that audience. You are now supposed to start everything afresh again. So you have to be consistent with whatever you choose. That is why you are supposed to make good research, so that as soon as you enter it, you know this is what you are doing, and you keep focused, and you do it continuously.
Okay, so I like this quote. It's not a quote, but then it's a audio of Kevin Hart's trending on Instagram or that, and he says, "You don't start something and stop. If you start something, you finish it." And it is very important, because if you want to be switching careers and you are not finishing everything that you are supposed to do in the specific career you find yourself in, it's going to be problematic for you. Problematic in the sense that today you are a musician, you're a student musician, you sing for students, fine, that's fine. You are singing, you have not yet built enough audience, you have not yet been able to establish your grounds very well. Then now you say that, okay, I want to be a dancer. Then now, okay, so you're dancing and you're singing, fine, no problem. Then all of a sudden, okay, I want to be a speaker. It's very, very, if you start something, finish it. When you finish, you can move on to, it's always possible. There are people who are doing 2 or 3 professions, and it's because they are finishing what they are starting. So I think it's very, very important. Consistency is very, very important. What else do we have to add?
Then you are supposed to embrace your network. Okay, networking mostly sounds like a dirty word, and we have people who are naturally good at texting, chatting people. Some too, if you tell them to chat people, it seems like a punishment. But there's no two ways about it. If you want to keep a brand, you are supposed to keep people around you. So learn how to interact with people and make yourself known. You see, sometimes we listen to people and people will say, you want to be known. You don't have to listen to people, because you can't keep a brand if you are not known. Nobody will say Sarkodie if they don't know him. So you have to make yourself available everywhere. Make sure you speak. And how will people know you? You have to speak. When you go for programs, ask questions, mention your name before you ask the question, so your name keeps sounding in their ears. When we went for this program, I heard Mr. Mohammed. Another program I heard. So they want to know who you are, because you are that person who always wants to speak out. Yes, so you are supposed to embrace the network and let a lot of people know you.
So my name is Mohammed Napare again. I want that to sound in your ears so that you can remember it well. I have an episode on building your social skills and your network. So I'll put links to that in the description. It was with Yao Selom, and I would include links to Yao Selom's Instagram and all of that. He's a very good communicator and he helps people build social skills. So I include links to that as well, so you can check that out. So Ashraf, what else do we do?
Okay, so the next thing is to grow your online presence. Okay, almost all job recruiters go online to read more about you. Okay, so 9 times out of 10 jobs you apply for, the recruiting manager is going to Google you. Okay, so as you are doing physical brand building, as you are going around on campus making people know you, you are supposed to let your presence be felt online, so that when it gets to a point where people outside your audience want to know you, they wouldn't necessarily have to come to your target audience to know you, but they can just go online and see you there. And then one thing we make is that we have people who make their presence known online, but not in line with what they are doing. Okay, so I know that when I grow up, I want to be a politician. But if you go to my Facebook account, everything is about religion. Nothing shows any interest about politics. You realize that if people want to make a decision as to whether they should follow me as a politician, and they go online, they realize that he doesn't even have any interest in politics because he doesn't talk about politics on his social media handles. They wouldn't be too comfortable because they feel you don't have the knowledge. So you are supposed to take note of what you are into and let your presence online be in line with whatever it is you are into, so that if people want to know more about you and what you do, they can get more knowledge online.
Yes, I think it's very important to not have contradictory personalities.
Yes.
On site, when I meet you, you're a very good communicator. When I go to your social media, you're a musician. And I ask myself, so who are you?
Who are you? Yes.
Because I met you and someone wants an MC. Oh, so the person wants an MC, and I'm like, okay, I know someone who is an MC, and I recommend you. The person searches you, and it happens that you are playing football on your social media. You have just ads of you in soccer and all of that. It's contradictory. And in building contradictories, you didn't have a very solid brand as a student. It's always not worth it. Stick to one thing and let people know you for that thing before you can always adapt, right? And so, having established all these timelines, it's very important that we have a selling point, or we have something that people should know us for, right? And in most times, finding that thing is very difficult. It's distinct for everybody. And so what we are sharing here is based on his views and what he has tried and it has worked out for him. And what I'm also sharing is what has worked out for me. But what has worked out for me might not work out for you. It is your journey to find out how unique you are. And so it leads us to the question of, how do you find your value? How did you come up with your value? And knowing that you want to be a politician, right? You want to be the president of Ghana someday, right? How did that happen? Was it you slept and you woke up, okay, I want to be this? Or it took a trajectory, it was a process you went through, and then you realized that, oh, I'm very good at communicating. And so because I'm good at communicating, if I venture into politics, it would help me serve people better. Or how did it come about?
Well, when we want to drive at what we are best at, you are supposed to pay attention to your passion. You see, we do a lot of things. Today you may be singing, tomorrow you may be playing football, the next day you may be speaking. So it is up to you to sit down someday and take a pen and a paper and ask yourself, last week when I was singing, what was my performance? Last 2 weeks when I was speaking, what was my performance? Then you weigh it. That is how you realize that, no, I think I'm doing better at communicating. So after you have realized that I'm good at communicating, then you ask yourself, what are some of the things I can use communication for? Yeah, so I can use communication in politics, I can use communication in any other thing.
And all
Yes.
of that.
So now you have you have politics, you have this, you have that you can use that skill for. Then you ask yourself, where do you feel comfortable? What are some other things that you do when you feel comfortable? So I realize that when I am leading a group of people, I feel so happy. I am glad I am leading people. I am making people feel some impact in me. So who are leaders? Leaders are politicians, okay? So yes. And what is the highest standard of leading? I can lead anyway without any portfolio, but it is said that when you have a portfolio, you get a chance to lead more. Yes. And the highest level of leading in our country is presidency. So despite the fact that I want to be in the national parliament someday, I still want to have that highest chance of leading a group of more people, so that if I'm a politician, member of parliament, I'm leading just people in the constituency. But I have the passion to lead almost everyone. And you can't do that if you are not the president. Yeah, that is how I came up with the intention of being the president of Ghana. And trust me, Ghanaians, 2052, Ashiraf Salaudeen for president.
Oh, it's a very laudable initiative, especially as a young boy who has been able to find that space. And that is the essence of this conversation. If you are able to find what you want to do at an early point, there's always that enough time for you to plan
Yes.
out very well. And that is the reason why I'm having Ashraf here, because he's very good at planning and executing. Right? And as laudable, I'm very happy you are here. Are there any other things you would want to add?
Okay, so let's just round it up to, we have people who do all these things we have mentioned. They do it anyways, but they still realize that the brand is not there. Yes. It means that there are some factors that are preventing you from actually bringing the brand out. And the first factor I'm going to talk about is the people you mingle with. Yes, you said you are a politician, but then anytime we want to see you, we are seeing you with musicians. You realize that you are doing all the things, you have a focus, you have your target audience, you are building your network. But then the people we see you with is confusing the people that are following you. That is it politics you want to do, or you want to be a politician? Because they say birds of the same feathers flock together. Yes. So we are supposed to see you with people with like minds like you. So after you move on with the right people, you are also supposed to take note of the place you find yourself. You see, one thing that really have much impact on our brand is the place. Okay. The other time I was giving a scenario that Votic water, if you go to Kimpiski, they may sell it at 50 cedis, just for example. If I go to Alisa Hotel, they may give it to me at 20 cedis. If I go to one chop bar, they may sell it at 5 cedis. Call one young lady on the street under the traffic and she will tell you the water is 5 cedis. I mean 1 cedi. The same water from the same company, the same size, the same label. One person is selling it at 50 cedis, another person 1 cedi. Why? Because of the place. Okay. So sometimes you are supposed to learn how to move from one place to the other. If you realize that this place is not giving me value, despite all the brand I am having. And I tell you, a minister that will go to Kimpiski and buy bottled water at 5 cedis will not even buy it at 3 cedis from the lady under the traffic. Exactly. Because it feels like, why should I spend this huge amount of money on the roadside? There's no value over there. Because even if I do a snap that I have bought water on the roadside, people will say, and so what? But then let me go to Kimpiski and do a snap with the Kimpiski logo coming in that I have bought water. Everybody is going to say, oh, you are a big man because you've gone to buy water at Kimpiski, and they will give you receipt. Then it means that Kimpiski, that place, has kept a certain brand that everybody wants to go.
Everybody wants to associate with.
You should be two things here. You should be that person who will move from one place to the other, to Kimpiski. And you should also be Kimpiski, that people would come to you. Yeah, they want to associate themselves to you in order to also have value. Yes. So after you have moved from a place to another place, keep building the brand so that you actually become that place, so that other people would want to come to you. Why would the company say you are an influencer, talk about my product and take this amount of money? Because you have built a brand that they want to enjoy some of your grace. Let me put it that way. Yes. So after you have paid attention to the
circle of friends, then you go to the place.
Then we talk about the unique.
Your selling points.
Yes. Again. So sometimes the selling points is not helping, but you don't pay attention to it. So once in a while, you are supposed to revisit your selling points and ask yourself, is there anyone who is offering this thing? That may be the reason why the brand is not moving, because another person is doing it even better than you. So you should be able to quickly adapt, adjust, and change it. Okay, and the last one is how you relate to issues. Everybody has this difficulty. When you are somewhere, you have a brand. When you are speaking, another person may say something that would, I don't know if I should say intimidate you or get on your nerves. Okay. If you don't know how to handle that situation at that point, you realize that you will do something and others who believe in your brand will say, despite the brand you have, you still do this publicly. Yeah, so we should know how to relate to issues sometimes. And I think all this is going to help us keep a very good
so
brand.
Just a summary of everything he has said. The first one was that you should know who you hang out with. As there's no arguments to this. Who you hang out with would, like, I remember when I was young, I used to hang out with a group of friends. who were not drinking. That is the only way I don't drink now. If I was hanging out with group of friends who were drinking, I would have been drinking by now.
Yes.
There is no argument about that. You know where you find yourself in. It's I don't know how to say this, but it's always right. You can be the right person at the wrong place.
Yes.
The right person at the wrong place, and you would pay for it. If you are fined, it doesn't matter. You'll be paid for it. You pay for it. The third one was that you should revisit your unique selling points. Maybe there are people who are also doing the same thing that you are doing, right? Take a look at them. Know what they are doing. How are they doing it better? And how can you improve on the better services they are also providing, right? And then last but not the least was that you should
know how to handle issues.
Yes, social issues, right? Growing up as students, and especially students' politics of today, you want to speak about every national issue, right? That is right. Nobody is stopping you. You can speak about every national issue you want to be. But always remember that people are watching you. If today you stand up and then you are talking about corruption, and for instance, in the University of Ghana, accommodation issues is becoming very difficult, and you have access to accommodation, and you are selling it at a very high price, we are all seeing you. And the truth of the matter is that we have seen how you are relating to that.
Yes.
We have seen how so you are the guy who was talking about this deal and this and this and this and this corruption. Yes. But see what you are doing. Is that really fair? Right? These are points you should always pound down, and these are points that we should all consider, because as students, mind you or not, you are not graduating alone. It is already around that there are no jobs. And the reason why there are no jobs is because the number of graduates coming out exceed the number of opportunities and jobs available. How you stand out is ultimate. And that is why we are bringing you this episode. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell button for any updates that come up. Until next time, be legendary.